Captain Du Yun stood on the bridge of his ship, the Dauntless. His eyes were tired. 5 years of fighting the Keller aliens had left him empty inside. The war had taken everything from him, his home, his family, and most of his friends. "Captain, we have a message from command," said Min Ho, the young radio officer. His hand shook as he handed over the small datapad. Du Yun read the message twice to make sure he understood it right. The war was over. The Keller had agreed to peace talks. All ships were ordered to stop fighting at once. "Should I tell the crew, sir?" Min Ho asked. "Not yet," Du Yun said. He didn't trust this news. Why would the Keller stop now? Just last week, they had destroyed 3 human colonies. Over 10,000 people dead in one day. And now they wanted peace. The Dauntless moved slowly through space, heading to the meeting point where Admiral Hawan was waiting. 6 other human ships joined them, forming a tight group. No one spoke much during the journey. They were all waiting for a trap. When they reached Arcturus Station, Du Yun was surprised by what he saw. Hundreds of human ships surrounded the giant space station. Gun platforms floated everywhere. This didn't look like peace. It looked like they were getting ready for the biggest battle yet. "Captain Du Yun," Admiral Hawan said when he entered the meeting room. She was a small woman with hard eyes that had seen too much death. "Sit down. What I'm about to tell you doesn't leave this room." Commander Jai Yun stood beside her. Jai Yun ran military intelligence, and she never smiled. Today, she looked even more serious than usual. "The Keller ships are gone," Jai Yun said. She touched a button, and a map of the galaxy lit up the room. 3 days ago, their main fleet just disappeared. All of them. At the same time. Disappeared. Du Yun asked. "How is that possible? There were thousands of ships." "We think they're hiding," Admiral Hawan said, "using some new technology we haven't seen before." Jai Yun touched another button. The map zoomed in on a human colony world called Kepler 62. "We're picking up strange energy readings here and at 6 other colony sites. Something is happening, but we don't know what." "Maybe they really want peace," said another captain in the room. Du Yun didn't know his name. Maybe they got tired of dying. Admiral Hawan shook her head. "The Keller don't think like us. They don't get tired. They don't give up. Something forced them to stop fighting us." "What could scare the Keller?" Du Yun asked. The question made the room go quiet. Everyone knew how brutal the aliens were. They had destroyed Earth's moon in the first year of the war, just to show they could. Billions died in the floods that followed. "That's what you're going to find out," Admiral Hawan told Du Yun. "I'm sending the Dauntless to Kepler 62. Take a small team. Find out what's happening there." "When do we leave?" Du Yun asked. "Right now," she said. "And Captain, don't trust anyone. Not even other humans. Something is wrong with this peace, and until we know what it is, we're all in danger." As Du Yun walked back to his ship, he looked out the station windows at the stars. For 5 years, he had fought for peace. Now that it was here, he felt more afraid than ever. The war had ended, but somehow, Du Yun knew the dying was just beginning. The Dauntless flew through space for 3 days before reaching Kepler 62. Captain Du Yun had not slept much. His dreams were full of war and death when he closed his eyes. "We're entering orbit now, Captain," said Min Ho. "I can't reach anyone on the surface. No one is answering our calls." Du Yun looked at the green planet below them. Kepler 62F was home to 30,000 people, farmers mostly, growing food for other colonies. It was a peaceful place, or it should have been. "Any signs of Keller ships?" Du Yun asked. "No, sir," said Gunwoo, the ship's scanner operator. "But there's something strange on the ground. I've never seen readings like this before." Du Yun gathered a small team. Himself, Gunwoo, and Sumin, their best scientist. They took a small shuttle down to the surface. The main town was empty. Houses stood with doors open. Meals sat cold on tables. It looked like everyone had just walked away in the middle of their day. "Where are all the people?" Gunmu asked, his hand tight on his gun. Su-min pointed to something shining in a field nearby. "I think we should look at that." They walked to the field and stopped in shock. Strange crystal structures grew from the ground. They were blue and purple, and they seemed to move slightly, like they were breathing. "Don't touch them," Su-min said. She took out a small device and scanned the crystals. Her face went pale. "Captain, these crystals, they're made of people." "What?" Do-yoon couldn't understand what she meant. "The crystals contain human DNA. And something else, something I've never seen before." Su-min kept scanning. "It's like the people were changed, turned into these crystal things." Gunwoo stepped back. "Is it some kind of killer weapon?" Su-min shook her head. "I don't think so. Look at this." She showed them her scanner. "I'm picking up killer DNA in the crystals too. Whatever this is, it's eating both humans and killer." A sound came from behind them. They turned quickly, guns ready. A man stumbled out from behind a house, but something was wrong with him. His skin had blue crystal patches growing on it. His eyes were wide with fear. "Help me," he said. His voice sounded strange, like two people talking at once. "It's inside me. I can feel it changing me." "Who are you?" Do-yoon asked, keeping his distance. "Junho. I am. The mater here." The man fell to his knees. "It came from the sky. Small crystals at first. We thought they were beautiful." He coughed, and blue liquid came from his mouth. "By the time we knew what was happening, it was too late." "What happened to everyone else?" Gunwoo asked. "Change. All changed." Junho pointed to the crystal field. "They're still alive in there. I can hear them screaming in my head." Su-min moved closer with her scanner. "It's spreading through his body. Whatever this is, it's taking him over cell by cell." Junho looked at Do-yoon with tears in his eyes. "Kill me, please, before I become like them." Do-yoon raised his gun, but before he could decide what to do, Junho screamed. Crystal spikes burst from his back. His face began to change, hardening into blue crystal. Gunwoo fired his weapon. The crystal man fell to the ground, still twitching. "We need to leave," Do-yoon said. "Now." As they ran back to their shuttle, Su-min's scanner beeped loudly. "Captain, I'm getting more readings. This isn't just happening here. I'm picking up the same energy from a dozen other colonies." The war had ended, but something much worse had just begun. Admiral Ha-won stood in the big meeting room on Earth. The walls were dark wood, and the floor was stone. 50 of the most powerful people in the human world sat around a long table. Their faces were angry. "You want us to work with the killer," shouted one man, his face red. "They killed my family. They destroyed 3 planets." Admiral Ha-won waited for the shouting to stop. "I understand your anger. We all lost people in the war. But this crystal thing, we're calling it the Void Bloom, is worse than the killer. It will kill all of us if we don't stop it." Do-yoon stood up. Everyone knew who he was now. The man who found the Void Bloom. The hero of Kepler-62. "I've seen what this thing does. It doesn't just kill people. It changes them. It uses them. And it's spreading fast." A woman with gray hair spoke next. She was the president of Earth. "How do we know the killer will help us? Maybe they made this weapon. Maybe this is their plan." "We captured a killer scientist 3 days ago," said Do-yoon. "Commander Ta-hen's team found him hiding on a small moon. He told us something important. The Void Bloom was a killer weapon, but it got out of their control. Now it's hunting them too." The room got very quiet. "Bring in the alien," ordered Admiral Ha-won. 2 soldiers led in a killer. The alien was tall and thin with blue-gray skin. His arms were too long, and his face had no nose, just breathing holes. Many people in the room had never seen a killer up close before. Some looked away. Others stared with hate. Tell them what you told me, Du Yun said to the alien. The Keller's voice came out of a small machine that hung around his neck. My name is Ix. I was not part of the weapon team, but I know what they did. The bloom was supposed to eat only humans, but it learned. It grew. Now it eats everything. Why should we believe you? Asked the president. Because the bloom has already taken 12 of our home worlds, said Ix. Your people have lost 6 colonies. We have lost much more. Our leaders are running away to the far side of the galaxy. They left us here to die with you. Su Min stood up next. She had been working with samples of the bloom that they brought back from Kepler 62. The Keller are telling the truth. I studied the bloom. It's changing faster than anything I've ever seen. It's learning from both humans and Keller, taking the best parts of both. So what do we do? Asked someone. We work together, said Admiral Hawan. We share what we know. We build better weapons, and we fight. Not everyone liked this plan. Many people walked out of the meeting. Others stayed but looked angry. The president finally spoke again. We will try this alliance, but we will be watching the Keller carefully. If they trick us, if they hurt us, we will destroy every last one of them. That night, Du Yun stood on a balcony looking at the night sky. Su Min joined him there. Do you think this can work? She asked. Humans and Keller fighting side by side. I don't know, said Du Yun. 5 years of hate is hard to forget, but we don't have a choice. In the city below them, fights had broken out. Some humans wanted to kill any Keller they saw. Others protected the aliens. The war had ended, but people still wanted to fight. And somewhere out in space, the void bloom was growing stronger. 6 months passed. Humans and Keller built a big base on a moon they called Horizon. The base had tall walls and strong shields. Inside, people from both sides worked together, but not happily. Du Yun walked through the science area. Humans sat at one side of each table. Keller sat at the other side. They shared work, but they didn't share smiles. Captain Du Yun called a voice. It was Rax, a Keller military leader. Before the alliance, Rax had destroyed 3 human ships. Now he was supposed to be a friend. What do you want? Asked Du Yun. He didn't trust Rax. I want to show you something, said Rax. His voice machine made his words sound flat. We have found a way to hurt the bloom. They walked to a testing room. Inside, Su Min stood with 3 Keller scientists. They had a small glass box on the table. Inside the box was a piece of the bloom crystal. Watch, said Su Min. She pressed a button. A beam of red light hit the crystal. The crystal turned black and stopped moving. It works. What is it? Asked Du Yun. We call it the disruptor, said Su Min. It breaks the bloom's connection to itself. This is just a small test, but we think we can build a big one. Big enough to hit the heart of the bloom. The heart? Du Yun didn't understand. One of the Keller spoke up. The bloom has a center, a place where it all started. If we can kill the heart, we might kill all of it. For the first time in months, Du Yun felt hope. But then an alarm sounded. What's happening? He asked. Trouble in Section 7, said Rax. Again. They ran to Section 7. A crowd of humans stood around something on the floor. It was a dead Keller scientist. Blood pooled under his body. Who did this? Asked Du Yun. No one answered. Commander Ta Hyun pushed through the crowd. He led the human security team. Everyone go back to work. Now. The crowd broke up. Du Yun pulled Ta Hyun aside. This is the 3rd dead Keller this month. Do you know who's doing it? No, said Ta Hyun, but he didn't look Du Yun in the eyes. We need the Keller, said Du Yun. We can't beat the bloom without them. We don't need monsters who killed our families, said Ta Hyun. They're not our friends. They're just useful for now. Before Du Yun could answer, another alarm rang. This one was louder. Red lights flashed. Intruder alert, said a voice over the speakers. Lab breach in Section 3. Do Yoon and Ta Hyun ran to Section 3. Inside the main lab, they found a human scientist named Yeon-ho. He was holding a gun to Soo-min's head. "Stay back," Yeon-ho shouted. "I'm taking the disruptor plans. I'm going to build it myself. No Keller will touch it." "Put the gun down," said Do-yoon. "We're on the same side." "No side with them is my side," said Yeon-ho. "The Keller killed my wife, my children, and now you want me to work with them. No." Ta Hyun stepped forward. Do-yoon thought he might help Yeon-ho. Instead, Ta Hyun raised his own gun and pointed it at the scientist. "I hate the Keller too," said Ta Hyun. "But this isn't the way. Put the gun down, or I'll shoot." Yeon-ho looked confused. "You're supposed to understand. You lost people too." "I do understand," said Ta Hyun. "But I understand something else now. If we keep killing each other, the Bloom wins. And I hate the Bloom more than I hate the Keller." Slowly, Yeon-ho lowered his gun. As guards took him away, Do-yoon looked at Ta Hyun with new respect. The war had ended, but learning to stop fighting was harder than anyone expected. 1 month later, 3 ships left Horizon Base. The human ship Dauntless was in front. The Keller ship Starseeker followed behind. Between them flew a small science ship carrying the big disruptor weapon. Do-yoon sat in the captain's chair on the Dauntless. The ship felt empty. They had only half the normal crew. The other half were Keller. It still felt strange to see the aliens walking the halls of his ship. "Captain, we're getting close to the target area," said Min-ho. His voice was tight with fear. The target was a star system called Proxima Centauri. Long-range scans showed that the heart of the Bloom was growing there. It was the place where the Keller had first tested their weapon. "All stations report," said Do-yoon. "Engines good," said Chief Gunwoo. "Weapons ready," said Gunwoo. "Something's wrong with our comms," said Min-ho suddenly. "I'm getting strange sounds." Do-yoon walked to Min-ho's station. The radio made noises like whispers and screams mixed together. "It's in the signals," said Min-ho. "The Bloom is in our systems." A loud alarm sounded. "Captain," shouted Gunwoo, "the Keller ship is turning. They're aiming weapons at us. They're attacking." Ta Hyun yelled. "I knew we couldn't trust them." But Do-yoon saw something different. "No, look at how they're moving. That's not normal. Something's controlling their ship." The Starseeker fired its weapons, but not at the human ships. It shot at empty space. Then the Keller ship exploded in a bright flash of light. Through the burning pieces of the Starseeker, Do-yoon saw it, a huge crystal shape floating in space. It looked like a giant heart, beating with strange light. Smaller crystal pieces floated around it like guards. "That's it," said Do-yoon. "That's the heart of the Bloom." "Captain, the science ship is in trouble," said Min-ho. "They can't get close enough to use the disruptor." Do-yoon made a hard choice. "We're going to push through. Get the science ship behind us. We'll clear a path." The Dauntless flew forward, shooting at the crystal guards. Each hit made the crystals break apart, but they quickly grew back together. "Engine room, give me everything you have," Do-yoon called. "We can push one more time, Captain," said Chief Gunwoo. "Then we're dead in space." In the science lab, Soo-min and Ix worked on the disruptor. "There's a problem," Soo-min told Do-yoon over the radio. "The weapon won't work from a distance. Someone has to take it right to the heart." "That's suicide," said Do-yoon. "Yes," said Soo-min, "but it's the only way." "I'll do it," said Do-yoon. No, it was Ix who spoke. "Your ship must escape to warn others if we fail. I will take the weapon." Ta Hyun stepped forward. "I'll go too. 2 have a better chance than 1. Do-yoon wanted to argue, but there was no time. The Bloom was sending more crystal guards toward them. Ta Hyun and Ix took a small shuttle with the disruptor. They flew toward the heart while the Dauntless shot at the guards to clear a path. Do-yoon watched on the screen as the small shuttle disappeared into the light of the heart. Minutes passed. Nothing happened. Did they fail? Asked Minho. Then, a huge wave of energy burst from the heart. The crystal began to crack and break apart. They did it, said Sumin. But their victory didn't last long. As the Bloom heart broke apart, it sent out a last attack, a wave of energy that washed over the ships and kept going. What was that? Asked Gunwoo. I don't know, said Sumin. But I think we just made things worse. The Dauntless limped back to Earth. The ship was badly damaged. Many crew members were hurt, but they had won. They had killed the heart of the Bloom. 2 days after they returned, the first cases appeared. A man in New Seoul attacked his neighbor with a kitchen knife. A woman in Beijing jumped from a tall building after killing her family. A group of soldiers shot their commander, then turned their guns on each other. All across Earth, people began to act strangely. They became angry for no reason. They hurt people they loved. They could not control themselves. It's spreading like a disease, said Sumin. She stood in a lab with Do-yoon, looking at brain scans. But it's not a normal sickness. It's changing how people think. Is it the Bloom? Asked Do-yoon. Did it follow us back? Not exactly, said Sumin. Remember that energy wave when the heart died? I think it was the Bloom's last attack. It changed something in human brains. It took away the part that stops us from hurting others. Can you fix it? Asked Do-yoon. I don't know yet, said Sumin. Some people aren't affected. About 30% of humans seem immune. Do-yoon looked out the window. In the street below, soldiers were shooting at a crowd of people who were trying to break into a building. How long until everyone goes crazy? Weeks. Maybe less, said Sumin. The Keller are having the same problem. Ix sent a message. Their remaining colonies are falling apart too. Admiral Howon called an emergency meeting. Only 20 people came. The others were dead or sick with the madness. We need a safe place, said Howon. Somewhere to keep the healthy people until we find a cure. They built a base in the mountains. High walls kept out the sick people. Inside, scientists worked day and night looking for a cure. Do-yoon led teams to rescue healthy people and bring them to the base. Each day, there were fewer healthy people to find. 1 month later, a young doctor named Hyun-ja came to Do-yoon with news. I might have a treatment, he said. Not a cure, but something that stops the madness for a while. What is it? Asked Do-yoon. It uses Keller brain cells, said Hyun-ja. Something in their brains can block the madness in our brains. But there's a problem. To make the treatment, we need fresh Keller brain tissue. And the Keller who gives it dies. Do-yoon felt sick. So to save humans, we need to kill Keller. Yes, said Hyun-ja. 1 Keller can save about 50 humans, but the Keller have to be alive when we take the tissue. That night, Do-yoon couldn't sleep. The choice was impossible. Let humans die or kill Keller to save them. In the morning, Ix came to the base with 10 other Keller. We heard about the treatment, said Ix. We want to help. You know what will happen? Asked Do-yoon. Yes, said Ix. We die so you live. It seems fair. The Bloom was our weapon. This madness is our fault. I can't ask you to do this, said Do-yoon. You didn't ask, said Ix. We offered. The first treatments were made that day. They worked. The sick humans became normal again. But the cost was high. Each treatment meant another dead killer. Some humans said this was justice for the war. Others couldn't accept living at such a price. And far away, in what remained of the Bloom heart, something was changing, growing, adapting. The war had ended, but the killing had only changed its form. 6 months passed. The mountain base grew larger as more healthy people arrived. But for every person saved, a hard choice was made. In a special room deep under the base, Keller volunteers waited. Each day, some were taken to the medical area. They never came back. Du Yun could not sleep at night. The treatment worked, but the cost was too high. 1,000. Keller had already died to save 50,000 humans. There must be another way, he told Su Min one night. We can't keep killing them. I'm trying to find one, said Su Min. But the madness is getting worse. The people who get sick now are more violent than before. And the treatment doesn't last as long. Outside the base, the world was falling apart. Cities burned. People killed each other in the streets. Only the military bases and a few safe areas remained. But the madness was spreading even in those places. One day, Jia Yun arrived at the mountain base. She had been far away, leading another safe area. But her group had been attacked. The sick ones are working together now, she told Du Yun. They're not just angry. They're smart. They plan. They use weapons and vehicles. How is that possible? Asked Du Yun. I thought the madness just made people violent. It's changing, said Jia Yun, becoming something else. The sick ones talk about voices in their heads. They say the voices tell them what to do. That night, Du Yun called a meeting. All the leaders who were left came together. Su Min and Hyunjad were there. So was Jia Yun, and 10 Keller, including X. We need to make a choice, said Du Yun. The way we're fighting this isn't working. The Keller are dying out. Soon, there won't be any left to make the treatment. What about Ta Hyun? Asked Jia Yun. He was in the heart of the bloom with X. He survived somehow. Maybe he has something in his blood that could help. We don't know where he is, said Du Yun. He disappeared after coming back from the mission. Su Min stood up. I have news, she said. I found something in the blood of the immune humans, a small change in their DNA. I think I can use it to make a new treatment, one that doesn't need Keller tissue. Everyone looked hopeful. But then Su Min added, the problem is, it would change everyone, not just cure them. It would change something basic in human minds. The part that makes us angry, that makes us want to fight. It would make everyone calmer, less aggressive. You're talking about changing what makes us human, said Jia Yun, taking away our fire, our strength. I'm talking about saving what's left of humanity, said Su Min. And the Keller too. The room grew quiet. The choice was impossible. Let humanity keep dying. Keep killing the Keller for treatment, or change what humans were at a basic level. There's something else, said X suddenly. Our scouts found something in the ruins of the Bloom Heart. It's not dead. It's changing, growing again, but different. I think when it returns, it will be worse than before. Du Yun looked around the room. So few leaders left, so few people who could make this choice. We need to vote, he said. Change ourselves, or keep fighting the way we are. The vote was close. But in the end, they chose to try Su Min's new treatment, to change what made humans human, to save what was left of both species. But some, like Jia Yun, walked out of the room before the vote ended. She would not accept the change, and she was not alone. The war had ended, but the fight for humanity's soul was just beginning. 3 months later, Earth was split in two. In the West, Du Yun led what they called the Harmony Group. They had used Su Min's new treatment. It changed people in small but important ways. They felt less anger. They thought before they acted. They could still fight if needed, but they didn't want to fight. In the East, Jia Yun controlled the Purity Force. They still used the old treatment that needed Keller tissue. They kept their full human nature with all its fire and anger. They saw the Harmony Group as no longer fully human. Between these two groups lay large empty areas called the Red Zones. Here, the Mad Ones lived. They had formed strange communities, led by those who heard the voices most clearly. Du Yun stood on a hill, looking east. With him was Su Min and X, one of the last living Keller. Jia Yun's forces are getting closer, said Du Yun. They'll attack soon. Why can't they just leave us alone? Asked Sumin. We're not hurting them. They think we're not human anymore, said Du Yun. And maybe they're right. We've changed. Changed, but still good, said X. Better, even. A soldier ran up the hill. Sir, we found someone at the east border. You need to see this. In a small room in the base, a dirty man sat on a bed. His clothes were torn. His face was thin, but Du Yun knew him at once. Ta Hyun, he said, you're alive. Ta Hyun looked up. His eyes were clear, not wild like the mad ones. I've been hiding, moving around, trying to find my way back. How did you survive? Asked Sumin. The shuttle exploded in the Bloom heart. I don't know, said Ta Hyun. I remember a bright light. Then I was floating in space in a small part of the shuttle. A trading ship found me a week later. Sumin took blood from Ta Hyun's arm. She tested it in her lab while the others waited. This is amazing, she said when she returned. Ta Hyun's blood has Bloom particles in it, but they're changed. They're working with his body, not against it. What does that mean? Asked Do Yun. It means he's immune to the madness, said Sumin. And more than that. I think his blood could be used to make a better treatment, one that doesn't change who we are, like our treatment, and one that doesn't need killer tissue, like Jai Yun's treatment. A cure? Asked Do Yun. A real cure? Maybe, said Sumin. I need time to work on it. But time was running out. That night, scouts reported that Jai Yun's forces were only 2 days away, and they had a new weapon, one that could kill from far away. They're going to attack all our cities at once, said Du Yun. We need to stop them now. I have an idea, said Ta Hyun. Let me talk to Jai Yun. She knows me. She might listen. It's too dangerous, said Du Yun. She'll kill you. Maybe, said Ta Hyun. But I have to try. This fighting has to stop. The next day, Ta Hyun took a small flying ship and headed east. Du Yun watched him go, feeling both hope and fear. 3 hours later, the ship returned. But when it landed, it wasn't Ta Hyun who stepped out. It was Jai Yun. We need to talk, she said to Du Yun. Ta Hyun showed me something I didn't expect. What? Asked Do Yun. The bloom is back, said Jai Yun. But this time, it's not just crystals. It's us. It's in the mad ones. They're becoming something new, something worse than the bloom ever was. The war had ended. But now humans face the hardest choice yet: fight each other or join together against a greater threat. Jai Yun sat with Du Yun, Sumin, and Ix in the meeting room. Her face was tired, but her eyes were sharp. The red zones are changing, she said. The mad ones aren't just crazy anymore. They're joining together, building things, and they all talk about the same voice in their heads. What voice? Asked Do Yun. They call it the Bloom Mind, said Jai Yun. Ta Hyun thinks it's what's left of the Bloom consciousness. It didn't die when we destroyed the heart. It just changed form. Now it lives in human and Keller minds. Sumin looked worried. How big is the problem? Very big, said Jai Yun. The red zones are growing. The mad ones are making weapons. In 1 month, maybe 2, they'll be strong enough to attack us all, and they won't stop until everyone joins them or dies. We need to work together, said Du Yun. Your people and mine, and what's left of the killer. Jai Yun nodded slowly. That's why I'm here. Ta Hyun convinced me, but my people won't agree easily. They still think your people aren't human anymore. Then we need to show them something better, said Sumin. I've been working with Ta Hyun's blood. The changed bloom particles in it might be the answer we need. For 3 weeks, they worked day and night. Sumin led a team of the best scientists from both sides. They found a way to use Ta Hyun's blood to make a new treatment, one that would cure the madness without changing people's basic nature. But time was running out. The red zones grew larger every day. Strange machines appeared in them. built by the Mad Ones. And the voice that called itself the Bloom Mind spoke to more and more people in their dreams. The treatment is ready, Su-min told Du-yoon and Jae-yun. But we can't just give it to people one by one. We need to spread it everywhere at once. How? Asked Jae-yun. The air, said Su-min. We can put it in the air, in the water, in the rain. Everyone will get it at the same time. That's wrong, said Jae-yun. You can't force a treatment on people who don't want it. We don't have a choice, said Du-yoon. If we don't act now, the Bloom Mind will take everyone. The debate lasted for days. In the end, they made their choice. Special ships flew high in the sky, spreading the treatment through the air. It rained down on everyone. The Harmony Group, the Purity Force, the Mad Ones in the red zones. Everyone breathed it in. Everyone changed. The change wasn't fast. It wasn't easy. People still fought. They still disagreed. But the madness faded. The voice of the Bloom Mind grew quiet. And slowly, very slowly, people stopped killing each other. 1 year later, Du-yoon stood on a hill overlooking New Seoul. The city was being rebuilt. People from all groups worked together. Even some Keller were there, the last few hundred who had survived. Did we do the right thing? He asked Su-min, who stood beside him. Changing everyone without asking them. I ask myself that every day, said Su-min. We took away their choice, but we gave them a future. Ta-hyun joined them, looking out at the city. The Bloom wanted to change us too, but it wanted to use us, to make us part of it. What we did was different. We saved what makes us human. Ix was the last to join them on the hill. My people nearly destroyed yours. Then yours nearly destroyed mine. Now we have a chance to build something new together. In the distance, they could see a large ship being built. It was made with both human and Keller technology. Its name was painted on the side. Peace. Where will it go? Asked Ta-hyun. To the stars, said Du-yoon. To find other worlds, other people. To warn them about weapons that can think for themselves. To tell them our story. As the sun set, the four of them watched the lights of the city come on one by one. The war had ended long ago. And finally, humanity had learned how to stop the killing. But deep in space, in the dark between stars, tiny crystal pieces floated, waiting, learning, changing. This cycle had ended, but cycles always begin again. The ENDV.